What's up, Blazer? How's it going? How we doing? Finally, the end of the week here, which is nice. There should be, yeah. What's up, Vince? How's it going? Still sick, a lot better though. It's good to hear. Yeah. I mean, have you been just downing a whole bunch of like vitamin C packets and all that stuff? Because that's just what I'd be doing. I'd just be doing that whenever I get sick. Are you excited for a Monday? I guess I'm really only excited because it's pay week for me, so that's kind of the only reason why I would be excited for a Monday, because I'm just like, ah, yes, I get my paycheck this week. That's about it. Oh yeah, that's right. We were working on glass last time, right? Yeah, we gotta get more glass. Got some orange juice and hot stuff. Good stuff. Good, good, good. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm particularly excited about this week. I mean, like, I guess to some extent, like, you know, the paycheck and shit. But on the other hand, it's also going to be kind of a stressful week, just because it's going to be a lot of work for me to do. So. I have a pretty big presentation coming up. Don't have. I believe we were also gonna tune into a certain song. Okay, man. Y'all actually want me to play it? I'll play it. Sure, why not? Let me get to the sand. I actually completely forgot about that. It's kind of funny because I literally put a reminder for myself, like, oh yeah, I should play this song or whatever at the beginning of the stream, and I just completely forgot. Here, let me pull it up. All right, let's listen to this. 2 minutes?
Where am I?
Did he make this a full-fledged song? I thought it was just gonna be like a.
I'm in love with the creeper on the low. I'm trying to she's a keeper. I just hope I'm enough. I got a diamond pickaxe, I'm gonna kick ass. She twerking in the cave to get cash, she got a thick ass. I'm in love with the creeper, I'm in love.
Creeper, I hardly know her. You know I'm a grower and not a shower. How did you get so thick?
What?
You a whole snack like an hors d'oeuvre. She's hissing like a demon. I'm in her nether regions. We're sailing on a wave. Hey, let me explode in your cave.
Not trying to be blue, but my sword's got level 3 protection. Feed you wheat to get you in the mood. my blaze rod's got a little erection. I can't get you off my mind, so I gotta craft a way to make you mine. Planks and sticks, baby, give me a sign. And break the bed, cause we ain't sleeping tonight. I'm in love with the creeper on the low. I'm trying to fuck. Bad as hell, she's a keeper. I just hope I'm
He
enough.
wrote this.
I got a diamond pickaxe, I'm gonna kick ass. She twerking in the cave to get cash. She got a thick
He
ass.
says written by Danny Gonzalez.
I'm in love. Do what's up? I think I
Like-
found my new bae.
Oh, no way, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, that's tight. Dude, you gotta meet her.
My girl too.
This was
Said my
pre-chat
favorite
GPT. That's what I'm about to say, man. Like,
Chick.
That's impossible. Who she gon' pick?
Should we battle like Liam Neeson?
Not necessary if we have a threesome. Hey girl, we got a proposition.
We got one diamond hoe and a whole lot.
that was a
of
terrible
Sia.
bar. That was so bad.
He's got raw pork and I got bone meal to feed ya.
I'm just listening to this. I'm looking at the video as well. It's just,
We can keep it on the low.
wow.
What do you say?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Sick.
This was a full-blown production.
On the low, we're trying to fuck. Bad as hell, she's a keeper. I just hope we're enough. We got a diamond pickaxe, we're gonna kick ass. She's working in the cave to get cash. She got a thick ass. We're in love with a creeper. We're in love. We're in love with a creeper. On the low, we're trying to fuck. Hope that she doesn't blow up. That would really fucking suck. We got a diamond pickaxe, we're gonna kick ass. She's working in the cave to get cash. She got a thick ass. We're in love with a creeper. We're in love. No, she blew up.
Oh, I knew it.
I lost all my stuff.
I had so many ingots.
Wow. Just, I mean, he thought all this shit up, dude. You know, on the one hand, I really want to give it props and just be like, yeah, you know what, like that was the best song ever, but it's about a Minecraft creeper. Like, how am I supposed to explain, like, if let's say that someone were to ask me, like, what's my favorite song ever? You know, what's my most listened to song on like something like Spotify, for example? And I pulled that shit up. Like, how would I even explain that? You know what I mean? Like, it's even worse for you know, for them, because it's just for like Danny Gonzalez and this Curtis Connor guy, because it's like, imagine like, because that song clearly went viral. Like, imagine having to explain to their parents, yeah, we made like X amount of dollars from a song where we just talked about fucking creepers. It's a banger? Okay, alright, so I'm completely outnumbered here. Lyrical genius. I can't lie, I respect it though. I do respect the just like the fact that he was able to figure out how to rhyme some of that shit is actually crazy to me. And that's pre-ChatGPT. Like, long story. I put it on my resume if I wrote that. Look, man, I mean, that's kind of a crazy project, you know? So, I mean, and that was 2021 as well. That's like peak COVID, basically, around that time. Jesus. I actually can't believe I never listened to that song. I think I was starting out college around the time that song actually released. That's just, I don't know, that's just crazy to me. There you go. There's your song for the day. That was definitely something. I was sexually attracted to a fine ass creeper in my server. Yes, I was sexually attracted to a virtual object. Okay, well, okay, to be fair, that's actually not too far-fetched, because there's definitely, I mean, that definitely exists already today, so. True, they get the freaky pass for COVID. Yeah. Oh my god, bro. What a song. Genuinely. Alright. Well, now that we are back to this world, I actually was planning to do a different world today. I have a Minecraft server with a friend of mine, and we're kind of just, we've been kind of just working on it and stuff. I'm building another structure there, which I might build into this world, but I haven't had the time. Okay. There's a guy who was sexually attracted to their car. I remember that video. Yep, I do. That's like peak internet, bro. That's like that's just how you know. We truly had some oddballs in our lifetime. I just can't imagine like at some point, you know, when we have like like let's say I have a kid and I'm just like I have to explain to them like, yeah, this is like my generation, you know what I mean? Like this is what we had as entertainment. Like what a way to start a conversation, huh? Max, everyone and their mom was reacting to that, dude. Yeah, that was a crazy time. Your kids are gonna have way wilder stuff, probably. I actually wouldn't be surprised. That the internet like never fails to amaze me. There are some people on the internet that are just like. They are freaks, man. God, why am I yawning already? It's only 6. VR gonna make a comeback and they'll be chilling in the metaverse. Oh, I don't even want to think about that, bro. Like if VR actually like, it's not even gonna be VR. It's gonna be AR at that point. It's just. Like we already have like Meta glasses, which like everyone and their mother is using it to record like TikToks where they just do stupid pranks now. Like it's gonna be crazy.
Gotta get a reply. Say something just not right. In my mind to find
Okay.
make it make sense for you. Switch sides all night.
I think this is how I want it. Yeah. This should be good. I'm just like I'm low-key thinking like, okay, how do I want this? VR has a lot of potential in my opinion. We just need to technologically progress past Beat Saber. Okay, actual truth, Nuke. Can't even lie. That's actually so true. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone using VR other than for like something like Beat Saber. Like everyone kind of, I don't know, like they kind of just after a while kind of downplayed it and was like, yeah, it's not gonna be much else, and then we just kind of moved on to things like AR. And then AI, and then all this other stuff that we're chasing. Okay, I think this should be enough. There's a zombie on my patio? Yo, get off my patio, yo. I played some games on my brother's Oculus, and the mechanics were pretty fun. The issue was just a lot of the games felt like gimmicks. Yeah, there really were not many companies that like ended up investing into VR, and like Meta was kind of one of the only companies that really invested into that, and then after they kind of just forgot, and then they just went towards the next shiny thing, which was basically AI. Oops. I didn't press, for whatever reason, my shift didn't press. Okay. Alright, yeah, probably cover it like this. Okay, go. Okay, skeleton just shot at me. Yeah, we gotta work on the all the mob spawning in this area. Okay. Okay. I think the first floor, I think we can unironically finish the first floor of this today. Wow, okay. Missing just that much. And it's raining. Walls seem to be going a lot quicker than the floor. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna have to figure out how I want to kind of section the second floor, because what I'm thinking about is I might just copy the wood pattern. Or I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool if I could copy the wood pattern onto the second floor as well, and then just kind of keep the or like make a foundation so it's not just one layer. Like the second floor is technically going to be 2 layers. Okay, should be good. So FYI, I'm probably not going to hang around the whole stream today. I have my birthday tomorrow, and I don't want to miss out on too much sleep. Oh yeah, no, I mean, 100%. I understand. Well, hey, I mean, if you know, whether I see you in stream tomorrow or not, I mean, happy birthday. It's gonna be a big one for I'm sure, right? Because I mean, you're about to head over to college pretty soon, and probably start your early adult life. Yeah, no problem, bro. Oh wow, that's literally all I needed. Sick. Okay. Turning 19, so not a proper milestone in my opinion. I mean, I guess so. Yeah. But you're basically, you know, you're getting a lot closer to becoming a you know, a young adult, which in my opinion is can be pretty exciting. Depends how you look at it. Okay, so now all of these are done. So now I gotta figure out what I want to do with this. I could make this all glass, or I can make this glass panes. Which I think the glass panes would probably look better. Actually finished school a year ago, but I was pretty directionless and pretty quickly gave up on what I started. I mean, life is in my opinion, life is never a linear path. So, you know, as long as at some point, you know, you find a path, you find a direction. I think what matters is, you know, what kind of matters at the end of the day is not really how you got there, but, you know, if you've done it or not, essentially. Because really, you know, in due time, it's going to be kind of like a memory for you. Also not expecting a big birthday since I'm also moving out this week and that's been taking priority. Hoping for an air fryer and maybe a nice bag. Yep, that sounds extremely familiar. I think it was like my junior year of high school, or maybe even senior year of high school. I was kind of like that essentially as well, where I was just like, I didn't even want like anything like Legos or anything like that anymore from my parents. Like I remember even my brother was like, what the fuck? But for Christmas, I asked my parents for books, and that was it. Like I didn't ask them for anything else. I was just like, yeah, I'll take a book. You kind of get to an age where it's just like, you know, you don't really expect much. And you kind of want to get something, you know, a little bit different, a little bit more useful, so to speak. In hindsight, I'm definitely happy I had a year to think things through, got my driver's license, and work through a lot of my mental issues. Yeah. Yeah, especially for something like that, I think it's important. As long as you have the goal of getting back on track, I think that's kind of what matters. You know what I mean? It's not really like, you know, I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of like put this together, but essentially what I mean, like, you know, as brutally honest as I can be about it, it's like nobody's really going to care about the process, you know, of how you got somewhere, right? People are going to care more about the results. But that doesn't mean that, you know, you shouldn't care about the process, right? Because the process is just as important, but it's important to you, not to someone else. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of like my opinion and what I think about, you know, things when it comes to that. But I mean, yeah, I think, you know, it's fine to be a little bit directionless, you know, maybe not have everything in life set to stone just yet. But, you know, when you get to a point where you can kind of go back to, you know, having a direction, I think that's kind of, you know, that's what matters the most, really. Birthdays are not the same anymore. I 100% understand. You know, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that because, you know, I stopped celebrating. I really stopped celebrating most of my birthdays, like basically since I went to college. Even for my 21st birthday, I didn't do anything for my 21st birthday. I didn't go out to the bars. I didn't do anything really, you know. And that's like one of the bigger, huh? Yeah, they threw me a party, but I didn't go out to the bars or anything like that. Yeah, my girlfriend was talking to me about my 21st birthday. Yeah, I of course my friends threw me a party, but I didn't really think of it. Like, I didn't think of it like saying, "Oh yeah, no, I should go out to the bars for my 21st birthday." Right? That's everyone's intuition. You know, my friends essentially, in a way, kind of forced me to like celebrate it. So I kind of understand that sentiment, though. Did you start reading Atomic Habits? I unfortunately have not yet. I do have that book in my wish list, and I am hopefully planning to buy it at some point. I'm finishing up a book right now. A couple of books actually right now, so want to get around to those first. For my 19th birthday, I went to a chicken salad place, and that's it. I mean, that's kind of cool though, like in its own way. You know what I mean? I think, I don't know. It's my opinion on birthdays have definitely changed. But I think it's fine. Like, to some extent, I'm just kind of like, well, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and be depressed and be like, oh yeah, like I hate birthdays and blah 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 and that. It's not like I hate birthdays. I just kind of find them, after a little bit, you kind of find them a little bit insignificant, and it's just like, oh yeah, you're just getting older. You know what I mean? You just kind of get to an age where like it's fine to kind of treat yourself every once in a while, right? And a birthday is kind of like that. In my opinion, like a birthday is kind of like one of those things that's just like, oh yeah, it's a day to treat yourself, right? But you know, I will never really think of it as like it has such significant meaning that I'm gonna have to, you know, get black shit drunk or shit faced drunk or whatever, and just completely like dead, essentially. You know what I mean? Like going out to like parties and spending thousands of dollars on stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like that. I will never think of like I'll never really think of birthdays like that. I was never too big on birthday celebrations either. I usually just spend a day with my family, which is nice. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I treat birthdays now, at least. And if I'm not with family, I'm with friends, or I kind of just take a day for myself. You know, if I'm alone on that specific day or something like that. Great, I'm getting old. I mean, I think when it comes to something like that, like birthdays, right? Like there are some people that will celebrate every single birthday going on like some expensive trip, or you know, they'll go into debt for like an expensive trip, or they'll buy themselves a new car, or you know, something like that. And like those things are fine, but to an extent, you know what I mean? If you're doing it every single year though, that's when it's kind of like, I feel like that's kind of an issue. So it's kind of, it's I think having that sort of mindset of like, you know, I shouldn't be spending so much money, or I shouldn't be celebrating every single birthday like it's, you know, the most, I mean, yeah, it's significant, but it's not the most significant thing that's going to happen in your life, right? Like there's going to be multiple things that are going to be way more significant happening in your life. Again, that's my personal view. I'm not saying that that's the consensus view, right? Huh? I know you like celebrating your birthday. You're also like 35 years old. I'm just kidding, guys. My girlfriend is not that much of a MILF. She's like 2 years older than me. But yeah, no, I don't know. Birthdays can be fine in when you control. I see your type. Yes, I like older women, man. Jesus. We've been over this. You're 33. No, I'm 22. I'm 22. I'm 22. She's 24 right now. No, I think I think if I would, dude, I wonder how I'm gonna be at 33. I actually do. But yeah, no, like basically at the end of the day, like birthdays are cool. Just don't be spending, you know, don't be taking out a whole mortgage just to celebrate your birthday. You know what I mean? Because there will 100% be, you know, more significant accomplishments in life than birthdays. And again, I mean, that's just kind of my opinion. You know. Old, I guess. Back in knee pain kicking in. Yeah, I can't even lie, bro. No, I mean, I'm clearly my 30s will be my prime, bro. That's what people be saying. They're like, oh yeah, the 30s, you're in your prime. I already feel old. I already have issues. Like, when I'm 30, it's probably gonna be worse. Okay. I'm gonna put some deep slate here. Bless you. You go to the gym, right? You shouldn't age too bad. True. As long as I'm not taking anything too crazy, like steroid. I don't think I'm ever gonna take steroids, but as long as I don't take that, I think I should be golden, right? I will get myself an air fryer if I don't get one. I feel like I'm gonna be a raging alcoholic in my 30s. That is a Blazer, dude, we gotta talk. What? Yes, bro. When I grow up, I plan to be a raging alcoholic. Jesus, man. Feel like one bad mistake and I'm fucked. I mean, you know, I can understand the sentiment. I will say though, like if you truly, you know, I can't tell if you're, you know, really joking because I'm speaking to you through a screen, right? But what I will say is, like, if you ever think it's ever gonna come to that, I think that's kind of where, like, setting up your sort of how'd you say it? Setting up like these I'm trying to find the word, not boundaries. Support systems. That's what I'm trying to find. I don't know why I thought boundaries. Support systems, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think. I don't know. Like, I mean, of course, like I would say when you're at a younger age, it definitely feels like, you know, things will get worse to some extent, right? There's that sort of sentiment, and I'm kind of noticing that a little bit now, especially with, you know, especially with like videos that I'm watching, and like even my brother, for example, and I'm just like, wow, like the state of the world kind of fucking sucks. But you know, I think setting up like good support systems that, you know, kind of prevent you from having that one bad mistake basically just ruin you for the rest of your life is important. You know, setting up systems both financially and socially, I think is very important. I mean, honestly, bro, I mean, again, you could just be joking, but I'm just kind of saying this because, like, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm a pretty fucking emotional / sentimental guy. And you know, when I was younger, I struggled a fuck ton mentally. I'm definitely a lot better now. You know, I have those support systems. I also have that sort of, okay, seriously, bro. I have that sort of thing socially that I can kind of like lean back on, and also financially, right? Because I'm just like, oh well, you know, I have this set up for me, and you know, if I truly need help, I can just reach out to someone, or I can kind of go to my emergency fund or whatever the case may be, right? And oh, there's a whole mob up here. And basically, okay. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, like, if you set up those support systems as early as you possibly can, you, in the future, you're definitely gonna like thank yourself. You know what I mean? Like, trying to learn. I think reflecting is kind of the biggest things that help you create those support systems, right? Like, if you kind of reflect, hey, you know, what's making you upset? What could fuck me up for the rest of my life? You know what I mean? Like, do I have like a bad impulse for something? You know what I mean? Both financially or even socially. Like, do you do something that maybe you shouldn't be doing? Something, you know, like an emotional response. You know what I mean? So it's just and I don't know why I'm kind of speaking on this kind of like I'm kind of speaking on this kind of like, oh yeah, you know, like I like this is a serious thing, but I know multiple times you kind of like you're. My point is, Blazer, you joke around a lot. And I understand there's a joke to it, but there's also the underlying truth behind that joke, and that's what kind of worries me. You know what I mean? I make it sound so parasocial, but what I mean is, you know, like, you want to just set up those systems, right? Make sure that you don't get to a bad spot, is what I mean. You know what I mean? And again, you could literally just be joking, but what I'm saying is, you know, just set up those systems so you're not fucked. You know what I mean? Create discipline for yourself as well. Discipline is another really big one, right? Like, guys, I'm gonna be honest. When I was a kid, and I say this as a kid, when I was in high school, like, I went to the gym. Okay, not much before. I was more of a swimmer before. I didn't really go to the gym as much. I was focusing more on swimming, right? After I quit swimming, you know, there was not much for me to focus on, right? And like, you know, for lack of better words, I got into multiple bad relationships. I got into, you know, I wasn't in debt, but I made some pretty terrible financial decisions. You know, there were times where I literally just, without getting banned on Twitch or anything like that, without saying anything too crazy, there were times where I did not want to be on this world anymore. And like, again, I'm not trying to make this a parasocial relationship in any way, shape, or form, but I'm sharing my story because I you know, like, I feel like that's the most important thing, is like speaking out about that sort of shit. And what do I mean by all of this is that, you know, I started going to the gym. I started learning more about personal finance. I started focusing on something that could get me through that. You know what I mean? Like, what was my interest? Guitar. I started playing a fuck ton of guitar. I still do. I have my guitar, you know, literally in my bedroom right now. And like, I started doing all these different hobbies. And it's not like I was trying to distract myself from the underlying issue, but I used my underlying issue, my underlying emotions, and placed them elsewhere, if that made sense. So, you know, that's the sort of systems that I'm talking about, to be more specific, right? It's like, invest that emotion, that time into something else, and believe me, it's gonna pay off, right? And that's not to say that I don't struggle with that shit even still, right? Like, I will still struggle mentally with some of that shit, but like, you know, my point is that like, kind of made it a mission for myself to make sure that I don't hit rock bottom again. That's kind of my point, essentially. The parasocial connection is crazy. Yes, I know. I made it super parasocial. My bad. Look, man, I'm just a sentimental / caring guy. I like, you know, when I first started this YouTube channel, the YouTube channel and the Twitch channel, right? Like, I think there's a couple of clips of me out there as well, kind of, you know, stating, like, I for example, like, let's take it back to like a video game that I played a long time ago, Doki Doki Literature Club, right? And when that whole, you know, there was a whole end screen that came up, right? And it was all about like, you know, mental health shit, essentially, right? It was all about like not being in the right mental space, essentially, right? And I kind of like, I think I went on like a whole, not really a rant, but I kind of went on a whole like thing about saying like, oh, you know, you guys should, you know, if you're struggling, you know, mentally, like, you should reach out. And I think there's that clip is still somewhere up there. So like, I think it's pretty safe to say that like ever since I kind of started this channel and stuff, and like I said, I'm not a, you know, I'm not a therapist. I'm not very, I'm not really qualified in that space, really. But what I will say is like I've seen things in my life, and I don't want, you know, that sort of shit to repeat, right? Like I think all of us as humans have a responsibility to kind of look out for each other to some extent. So, you know, parasocial relationship or not, I think it's something that kind of makes us at least human. You know what I mean? I was saying it as a joke, but when I am really thinking about it, I'm a little bit worried. That's what I figured. And like, you know, all I'll say about that, you know, is kind of like, look, you set up those systems as early as you possibly can, and believe me, like, it will fly by, and, you know, you'll definitely feel a little bit better. You know, because if, let's say that you do hit a supposed rock bottom, you're not going to be making bad decisions. You know what I mean? So it's difficult, you know. It's a tough thing, not just to talk about, but also to kind of like, you know, find a solution for. Like, I'm not gonna say that I'm completely perfect and that you guys should be listening to what I'm saying verbatim, copy it verbatim. Like, you know, I still struggle with mental health and shit. I think everyone does. I think that's you know, that's a valid it's a valid thing, right? I mean, it's kind of what makes us human, right? But yeah, I mean, setting up those systems where you're not going to be making those bad decisions, you know, and fucking yourself up for the rest of your life is very important, in my opinion. I had a lot of issues with avoiding my problems in gaming instead of doom scrolling. Yeah, no, I've had the same thing, man. I completely understand that. Realized way too late, but I'm happy I realized while I was still in my teens. I feel like some people never realize. Also, this type of chat, actually, that parasocial, I thought that was something when you're a Ludwig's genuine friend or something, he doesn't even see your chats. I don't know. No, it's a joke that Blazer has been putting into the chat for the past. I don't even know. It's been a it's been a while. I think parasocial, you know, is kind of like when you get too involved with a person's life, like an internet celebrity or whoever. I think when you get too involved with their life, that it kind of consumes your own life. That's kind of parasocial, in my opinion, I guess. You know, my interpretation, I guess. Yeah, we've never met in person. Like, I have not, like, other than my IRL friends that, you know, you'll see in my chat every once in a while, like, I have not met anyone else in this chat. And it's not like a bad thing. or anything like that. But I'm just saying, like, I think when it comes to, you know, emotions, right? Like, I'd be a dickhead if I just sat here and just, like, you know, Blazer came into my chat one day just kind of, you know, like, kind of just saying, like, bad, like, if let's say he were to be saying some, like, suicidal jokes or, like, some other joke or whatever the case may be, right? Like, I'm not just gonna, like, sit there and kind of be like, oh, you know, yeah, business as usual, you know what I mean? Laugh about it and then just kind of move on, you know what I mean? And, like, I think for a lot of people when it comes to, like, I can understand it from one end where it's like, you know, a lot of people, they have people that come into their chats and maybe say some concerning things that are kind of just like, well, hey, you know, that's not really appropriate for a Twitch stream, right? And I can understand it from one end, but on the other end, you know, I think as a human, we should also kind of be looking out for each other. You know what I mean? So it's like if someone is genuinely just struggling and just looking for some advice, you know what I mean? I think it's completely valid to just like reach out to someone on the internet and kind of say like, hey, you know, I'm struggling with this. You know, how do I go about approaching this? You know what I mean? How do I go about approaching this situation? I mean, that's the whole fucking point of the internet, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, it's supposed to connect us closer together, right? I mean, that was the whole point, was it not? So it's kind of like, you know, when you kind of just commodify it and make it only a sort of like I mean, yes, it can be entertainment, but when you only make it entertainment and you can't really make it anything else than, you know, other than that, in my opinion, that kind of makes the internet useless. You know, because then it's just like, okay, well, you know, what's the point? Like and this is, again, this goes into this whole fucking thing, but it's just kind of like, you know, utilizing the internet to its fullest potential, I think, is important to humanity. You know what I mean? And one of which is to, you know, share stories, be relatable to each other, right, and help each other out. I mean, that's the whole fucking point, in my opinion, at least. Again, that's just my opinion. Some people may disagree and say, no, you know, maybe I want to watch my, you know, 57th TikTok about how 6'7" is the funniest fucking number in the world. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, sure, you know, we can debate about that, but, you know, my point is that, like, I think a lot of people have kind of lost track about what the internet was really supposed to stand for, and kind of just say like, oh, you know, stop looking for attention online and stuff like that. And I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, maybe there are people out there that like look for attention, but like if someone is genuinely struggling, right, like it doesn't hurt to at least kind of reach out and ask. Yeah, we've definitely gamed a decent amount. That's 100% true. It's true. Of course, people who meet IRL are going to be able to connect on a way higher level. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm not going to tell you guys about, like, you know, everything that's going on in my life and everything like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to tell you what's going on in my family and what's going on with my friends, you know, what's going on in my day-to-day life. I'm not going to tell you that stuff. But, like, if it's something like dealing with a very, not generic, but a fairly relatable problem. Say, for example, you know, we're talking about, like, struggling with mental health or something like that. Like, yeah, that sort of stuff, in my opinion, I think is valid to kind of ask for advice to some extent, right? Because everyone, to some extent, has struggled with mental health. You know what I mean? So hearing their sort of take on it, I think, is completely okay. You know, of course, don't take it as medical advice. I'm not sitting here and saying that I'm a therapist by any means. I mean, I struggle to even express my own fucking feelings sometimes, you know what I mean? But, you know, just being able to kind of reach out, I think, is a good first step. Definitely achieved the opposite. Yeah, the internet has definitely regressed over the past couple of years, and it's kind of unfortunate too, because you see that in social media, where, like, you know, the internet and just social media in general has started to, like, divide so many people. You know, it's a very sad thing to see, like, the division of humanity and society. in general, because it's just like it doesn't really cost much to be a decent human being. I mean, you know, that's just kind of what I think, at least. But like, it's just not. Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll kind of just leave it at that. You know, I don't know. You turn 22, you go into the workforce, you start to realize a couple of things. You know what I mean? I think that's why my streams recently have been so, like, how do you say it? Therapy-like. Not really therapy, but I just kind of like rants / talk about a lot of deep shit. You know what I mean? But I mean, you know, it's better than me screaming at a screen for 1 to 2 hours a day and complaining about how Overwatch sucks, right? So, you know, there's pros and cons, I guess. I really dislike this social media. Even just the harmless memes are just such a time hole for me. When I still had apps like Instagram, and it felt like I'd lose at least half an hour as soon as I open Reels once. Yeah, I understand that completely. I've recently, well, I mean, I got banned on Instagram. That was a whole thing that happened. But I think getting banned on Instagram was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I've actually been fairly happier. Definitely a lot more involved with reality, I will say. So, you know, there's a depressing aspect to that. But I guess, like, I've definitely been happier in terms of, you know, I'm not comparing myself too much to people. I mean, I still have that issue, but I'm not doing it as much. That's for sure. You know, I'm not seeing a whole bunch of, like, super divisive content that, you know, it has to be one side is right or the other, and, you know, that sort of stuff. So it's kind of interesting, you know, how social media ruins that perspective of life. So I mean, yeah, I personally like that, you know, I don't have as much watch time or screen time in general on really any social media, and the only time I'll really I get on TikTok for maybe like 5 minutes now per day, maybe a little bit more depending if my girlfriend sent me like 53 different TikToks. But, you know, if you don't engage all the time, you're so out of the loop, you don't know the lingo or 6-7. Yeah, that is true. That is true. It really just becomes a coping mechanism. Yeah, no, it is, unfortunately. And you know, I think the best decision a person can ever make is kind of getting away from social media. I mean, so the whole point of social media was to connect people, right? And that can be true to some extent. But then I realized, like, you know, bless you, that, like, yeah, that might have been the purpose of social media, but that's not what ended up happening, right? It was an unintended effect that ended up happening, right? Where people just kind of decided to use it for more malicious purposes, right? And, you know, now everything is all about, like, you know, ad revenue and average screen time on, you know, a specific app, right? Like, you know, how often are people being on our app, you know, or staying on our app and stuff like that, right? It's all like the sort of kind of goes back to, like, the addiction sort of tendencies, right? But it's also true, I feel like I've been much less insecure about physical stuff since I stopped with most social media. Yeah, no, exactly. It's kind of a liberating feeling. Well, yeah, no, I mean, it's a good thing, though. It is definitely a good thing to just kind of get off social media and just take it easier, focus on your own thing. worry about your own thing, you know? I mean, I definitely feel like I've been, you know, not just that, but also just more productive every single day. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, chat, when I tell you, you know, this new schedule that I have, you know, this new routine where it's basically packed. Every single day I'm doing something, you know? And it's kind of crazy because I'm like sitting through a Harvard course right now, just like about optimizing Python code. And I can get through a 30-minute, maybe even an hour session. And I'm just like, wow, that shit went by quick. You know what I mean? Like, instead in the past where, you know, yeah, I'll get it done, but it'll maybe take me twice the amount of time because, you know, I would kind of like take my break or whatever, right? I would be like, oh, I'm getting tired now, right? I'm a little bit, let me take a break. And then I'd be scrolling for, you know, a couple of minutes. And that's like a couple of minutes where I could have maybe been doing something else, you know? Sucks that it's the only platform we have to stay connected with friends. That is true. I mean, other than like, you know, if you were to get your friend's phone number, which like, honestly, it was kind of crazy how, you know, I have a fair amount of people's phone numbers and stuff, but, you know, most of the people that are, you kind of start to realize that most of the people that are important to you, you will have their phone number. And most of the people that aren't important to you, you know, you only ever keep on social media, right? And the only time that you will ever really try to connect with them is, you know, or even interact with their posts is when they go on like their $20,000 trip to like Italy or something, right? And they're like showing off, oh yeah, you know, I went on this trip and stuff. And then that's kind of where it comes to like the sort of comparison thing where it's like, oh yeah, you know, you're just comparing yourself to them, like, oh, you know, they went on this trip and I'm over here struggling to pay bills. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. Like one reel will have you questioning whether you're chopped or not. True. I've had that happen to me one too many times. Someone recently saw some video about what nose shapes are chopped, and that genuinely had me analyzing my nose shape. Before I never even thought about it. Getting insecure about it is pointless. It never bothered me when I looked in the mirror and I can't change it. Yeah, man, that's the that's the harsh reality of social media, and sometimes the internet as well. You know, I think the internet can be pretty harsh as well. I mean, it's an unfortunate reality, and I'm not gonna sit here and say like, you know, oh, that's reality, just suck it up, because it sucks. You know, because it's just like, well, you know, well, why are we being dickheads? You know what I mean? Like, especially when we're behind a screen, like, it's kind of rare to come across like wholesome internet moments, other than maybe if it's for a cat video. Which, I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest. If you go on a cat video and put some mean shit on there, like you're just a terrible human being, like straight up. Nobody really asks for phone numbers anymore. That is actually a good point that you bring up, because yeah, it's true. Like nobody actually asks for that shit anymore. I mean, a lot of the people that, you know, I befriended, a lot of them I did get their phone numbers, which is great, you know, and I still have a lot of people from my my college years. I have their phone numbers, maybe their Snapchats and stuff, right? Because some people just ended up using Snapchats and everything. But the Instagram was kind of the one thing where it's just like, oh yeah, you know, that's the Instagram was like the one place to kind of show off the good of your life, essentially, right? So, you know, nobody really wants to exchange phone numbers when that's not really the point, right? The point is, you know, to some extent showing off that they have a better life than other people. I mean, that's not the case for everyone, but for the most part, you know, there's that little voice in people's head probably saying that, right? Because when you feel awesome enough lifted, you get off the app and do something. Yeah. If you feel insecure, you'll keep on scrolling and hope to get validated, so the algorithm pushes toxic stuff. Couldn't have summarized it better myself. And yeah, I mean, that's just... That is unfortunately just how that, you know, algorithms and everything works now. That's the unfortunate, you know, you're going into the data science field, and, you know, at some point you will probably take a class on algorithms and all that shit, and you'll realize, wow, you know, that's, you know, algorithms are cool as a concept, but then when you realize how they're utilized, you start to realize you're kind of like Robert J. Oppenheimer when he found out how to make the atomic bomb, and he's like, ah, right. So he you know, or like God, what was his name? The guy who was behind the Nobel Peace Prize, where he found out about how to, I think it was because he found out how to make dynamite, and then he just kind of dedicated the rest of his life into, you know, giving prizes about scientific discoveries that kind of work towards like world peace, essentially. Alfred Nobel, that's right. Yep. Yeah, he was the chemist inventing dynamite. That's right. Yeah, and then when he realized what, you know, it could be used for in a more negative connotation, then he was like, he kind of dedicated the rest of his life to, you know, peace, essentially. See, it's the unfortunate thing about, you know, finding out about things that most people would probably not even care about. Okay. So, just realized we have been streaming for an hour. I've also, God, this was quite the Sunday. This was quite the Sunday stream to start off, huh? Well, we just talk about mental health and all this other deep shit. So what a way to start the next week, basically, right? He made dynamite or some explosive less dangerous, hoping it would make mining safer. Exactly. Yep. And people ended up using it to blow each other up. Yep. Yep. Philosophy Sunday. I fuck with that name, actually. Philosophy Sunday is actually really good. I think we should coin that term. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, I mean, like I said, guys, like I'm just about as human as, you know, I'm a small streamer for a reason. You know, I don't scream at a screen 24/7 and you know, do subathons where I do, you know, try to poison myself by taking hot sriracha sauce and putting it all over my wings, you know, and doing it every single time I die in a video game. Like, that's not the point of my streams. Like, the point of my streams is kind of just talk about life, talk about anything, and I play something like Minecraft, or, you know, other times I'll play with friends and just kind of, it would just kind of be a good time, you know what I mean? So I'll be here all week. But I guess with that being said, we are done. So the greenhouse is there. We're probably going to focus on the structure a little bit. The first floor is officially complete with the with all of this stuff here. So we'll be working on the decorations a little bit after we kind of work on the second floor here, which the second floor is not complete yet. We got to get a lot of spruce wood, and then I got to figure out a way to, you know, how I want to kind of make this house modern looking. I fuck with this type of stream though. I like listening to people and what they're talking about. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's, you know, streams are supposed to be entertainment at the end of the day. I mean, that part I do understand, but I think, you know, when it comes to me, like, I watch a ton of educational shit. You know, I don't watch a whole bunch of, like, I don't watch things like Kaizenat or, you know, Speed or anything like that. I don't really watch them. And it's just because like their sort of streams are, you know, very hyper, very energetic, right? They're supposed to be for entertainment, pure entertainment focus, right? And that's fine. Like that's a category, you know. And then I'm not dogging on that, but for me, that's just not me, right? I can't sit here and I'm 22 years old. I work in a 9 to 5. You know, I come back from work and I work on like so many projects to the point where, you know, I lose track of time. And, you know, I like to stream and kind of just speak my mind and like I really just use it as an outlet for myself to some extent, right? Like to be completely selfish, I use it as an outlet. You know, so I have some entertainment streamers, but I prefer folks who get real sometimes. Yeah, exactly. Like that's just kind of who I am. Like I tried to be that whole like energetic. I mean, especially in the past, I tried to be that whole like energetic, like scream at a screen and all this stuff, right? But it's like, you know, especially for people like me, I feel like that sort of stuff is kind of like, okay, what the hell? I'm gonna ban that guy. But for me, like that sort of stuff is kind of just like doesn't really provide much value. You know what I mean? You know, and my philosophy is to offer some sort of value to my content. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, I can't sit here and scream at a screen all day. I mean, I just can't. I can't scream at a monitor. I tried, and to be honest with you, I don't think that really made me much entertaining. It made me more annoying. It was kind of like, and it was annoying for me, you know. So, really picky with the streamers I watch regularly. I can't lie. I appreciate you coming by. You know, I like I said, I do this as a hobby. You know, and unless I get my big break, like if all of a sudden I could just drop my job and become a streamer where I make $1 million a year or some shit like that, I 100% would. But I don't think I'll ever get to that point, and I'm completely fine with that, you know. This is why I stayed, falling for the parasocialness. Well, jokes aside, I do appreciate you, you know, stopping by and always being willing to talk about shit that, in my opinion, I don't really see talked about much in other streams and other content, like entertainment focused content, right? Live content. So I mean, I do appreciate that. You know, I'm not like, you know, like that's just again, that's just me. That's just how I am. I love to yap, and I love to just go on tangents all the time, you know, and that's just me, because this is what I use streams for. I use it to, you know, as an outlet for me to just kind of speak about what's on my mind, and if people get me, they get me. If they don't, they don't, you know. Absorbing the wisdom from today's stream. Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys, you know, learned something, reflected on something, you know, whatever the case may be. I hope that you guys get some form of value out of my streams, because I don't want my stream to in my content in general, I don't want it to become like, I don't want to force a persona. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm like the realest, you know, streamer out there. Why don't I have this many views? Blah blah blah, this and that, right? Like I'm so humble. I'm not sitting here and saying that, right? Because it's like at the end of the day, I know what gets views, I know what gets clicks, and that's just not the route I want to take. I mean, really, that's just what it is. Going wild over the Jags games right now. Oh, yeah, I forgot this. They're on today. What's their score? Oh. They're not doing too bad. Okay, hopefully they can clutch it out for the fourth quarter. That's actually the first time I've seen a Jags going against a decent team that isn't in the negative. Go Jags, huh? Anyways, I am way over my time limit here, so I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. I will be streaming tomorrow as per usual. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm always down to talk about real shit. That's for sure. So, thank you for stream. Good luck at gym. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. All right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.